What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. I'll be honest. As I'm watching, all I could think was, this is just going to basically be the Newcastle game all over again. We're going to get that goal, hopefully, eventually, and that's going to open the play up for us. We're going to start playing with some more energy. They're going to drop off a little, and then it'll look like a comfortable win at the end of the day. That did not happen. We got the goal. I was waiting for it to open up, and it did not. It was still the same slow-paced game we've been playing the whole game. Lack of energy, lack of commitment. They were still on fire because they're at home and they feel like they've still got a chance to nick that goal because we've given them a couple. I mean, it was not a good game. And the scoreline also reflects this was not a good game. It doesn't matter that we're away from home. It's still Malmo. It doesn't matter that we're missing some of our players. We've still got enough quality. We've got a deep enough bench that we should be able to put in a good team and still get the job done. But we didn't. We narrowly eked out a victory. It took a while to get that goal, and then even after that, we still didn't really turn up the pace. We still didn't really get going. We didn't grind through the gears. It was just a very narrow, average result. So, let's talk about it. First of all, from Tuchel's point of view, not much he can do. I get that. He's lacking some players. So, lineup-wise, don't have much of an issue. Subs-wise, as much as I hate to say it, I get it. He's trying to bring some fresh legs on up top to maybe spark something. And I get, Pulisic's come back from injury. You don't really have much aside from him and Barkley. So it's not a great position to be in. And as much as I hate to say it, I understand why he puts Barkley on today because he did need some change up front. However, I do feel like he should have utilized the fact that we have 5 subs for the Champions League because we needed a lot of fresh legs that second half. And we needed something different. We needed some more energy. We needed some players that could bring something different because the players that were on the pitch weren't getting the job done. So I felt like he should have done more than that, more than just the 2 subs. But that's about the only thing I can complain as far as that's concerned. The one thing that I will say is a big issue from the past few games that I've watched, and honestly going back further, the more that I thought about it, his tactics in the final third. I really gotta wonder, does he understand the concept of second phase? Because based on our play today, we didn't look like we knew there was such thing as a second phase. Anytime a cross came in or a shot was hit, there was the one player going for the cross, everybody else is standing and watching. The shot comes in, everybody's standing and watching. You play for the second phase too. You play for that spill from the keeper. You play for that deflection off the defender. You play for the mishit that bobbles into your path. You play on. And it didn't look like that was an idea today. It didn't look like we had any ideas outside of, well, I hope he hits the shot and I hope he scores. Oh, the keeper spilled it, and if I was aware, I could have gone and poked it in. Darn. I don't know what to do in this situation. Like, that's how it felt, and that's not how it should feel. Like, I really don't get it. Because it's such a simple concept. You're on your toes, you're ready, you're aware. So if anything happens, if something goes wrong on their side, you're ready to pounce. You're ready to make something happen off of it. They were doing that at times. There were several moments where guys coming through and they've got somebody making the run next to him or alongside him. So if it kind of bobbles around, bounces off of each other, honestly, I mean, Newcastle did it as well. So many moments where they're breaking down the field, but they've got more than one. So that way, if a defender steps in and pokes it off, well, here comes the next guy, and he's there to win it. It's an easy concept, and yet we're not doing it. It's something that Lukaku should be very good at doing, considering he's supposed to be an excellent striker. We spent all this money for him, and yet he's not ready. He's never been ready for the second ball. He's never been ready for the second phase of the attack. Cross comes in, headed away. Lukaku's done. Oh, look, we got another cross in. Well, Lukaku wasn't ready for it because he turned off. So, I don't know if this is Tuchel's doing or if this is players doing, but if it is the players not doing their job, Tuchel should be the one to step in and say, hey, this has got to get better. We got to get better at when the play resets, when the deflection happens, when the keeper spills it, we've got to be ready. We've got to be ready to attack it because we were not today. And we had several chances that easily should have been finished that we didn't finish it off. And that's why it ended 1-0 instead of being a comfortable 3-4-0 win. The referees, I'll talk about him real quick because he was pretty bad today, and that just kind of piled on to the misery of how poor we were playing. Yeah, just it was one of those games where it felt like we nudge them, they fall over, and it's a foul. They nudge us, we fall over, it's not a foul. And I'm not saying, like, whatever the case, whether he wants to call it tight, whether he wants to let us play, I don't mind. Make it consistent. And he wasn't today. It was very, this is a foul, but the same thing that happened the other way is not a foul. And it happened quite a bit throughout the game. And I think probably the biggest, like, mistake that I saw today, and it's one of those situations where the replay and the slow motion makes it look even worse, but it's just laughable how many times they flopped. The one in particular I'm thinking of is the one where Loftus-Cheek got a yellow card for it because he slides in. The guy literally pulls his legs up and jumps into the challenge and then falls over. Like, I saw it on, like, in the live action. I didn't even need the replay. I saw that he was falling before Loftus-Cheek even got there. And sure enough, you watch the replay, Loftus-Cheek comes across, the legs go up, and then he hits him and falls over. And I'm just like, wow. Like, how bad can you be when you're right there on top of the action? You can clearly see, because he had a great view of it, you could clearly see he jumped and screamed before the contact even happened. And yet you still give a foul and you still give a yellow card for it. Hello? But there were several moments, slight touch on the face and they're down crying and holding their face. One guy didn't even get touched, he was down holding his face. And it made the game very choppy because there were several moments where they were clearly just looking to waste some time. So they'd go down like they got hurt, and he's just buying into all of it. He's just giving them everything, giving them all the benefits of the doubt. And it was a frustrating game from that point of view. But back to us. Individuals-wise, Mendy obviously didn't have much to do today. So can't really rate him because I don't even know if he had to make a save. I'm trying to remember. I don't think he made one today. I think, a couple times he had to be ready and aware, but for the most part, I mean, they didn't really get down that far. They had a couple shots from outside the box that were close, but it felt like Mendy would have been on it. So, yeah, I mean, just not much from him. The defense, obviously their defending was fine, because there were some moments where the play looked a bit dangerous because, we were being very sloppy up top and it was leading to good counterattacking chances for them. And they were attacking with numbers, they weren't just sending one or two guys and hoping for the best. They would throw guys forward, which made it even more frustrating that we couldn't get anything done on the other side because if they're sending so many guys forward, that means that when we win the ball back, there should be plenty of space for us to counter on them, and we weren't doing that. So, but the three in the back were fine. They all defended well enough. On the ball, it could get a little scary at times, and nothing bad happened. But the problem is, and I've felt this anytime a game like this has been going on, whenever a team is pressing high and with pace and with numbers, and we're still keeping possession in the backfield, I really don't get that. I understand the concept of controlling the momentum and controlling the flow of play. However, in a situation like this, if they've got numbers forward, that means the space is not in our defense. It's in the midfield or in the attack, which today was really in the midfield. So why are we not getting the ball up? Why are we not getting it downfield? And especially on today's pitch, there were several moments I'm seeing people slip around the pitch, and I'm kind of thinking, I don't feel comfortable keeping possession in our defense today because all it takes is one bad touch or a slip, and suddenly now they're in because they're ready for that moment. They're ready for us to make a mistake. So I just always feel like in these situations where they're pressing high, it's not really a good time to keep possession back there. It's not really a good idea to control the play back there. A lot of times it's better to just, hey, you're going to push forward, you're going to hit us high and try to cause us to make a mistake here. Well, we're just going to pass around you, get it down the field, and now you're going to have to be forced to push back. Because I feel like that's honestly the best way to counter a high-pressing team, is to just force them to have to step back by getting the ball past that first line of press. But I mean, they didn't, like I said, didn't make any mistakes. It was fine. It was just very uncomfortable for me, the viewer, throughout most of the game because I'm just waiting for that one mistake to happen that's going to let them in, but thankfully it never came. But yeah, all three of them were fine on today. Azpilicueta was fine. His work ethic is good as always, but his quality in the final third is always kind of what hinders him from being a truly great wingback. And maybe that's kind of a mistake on Tuchel's part. Maybe it should have been he plays in the back three today and let James kind of be that creative player on the wing. But the problem, of course, with that is, they were countering on us a lot, and we needed Azpilicueta to work both sides of the ball. So I've always thought, if we could get somebody with the work ethic of Azpilicueta but the talent of James, we'd have a complete wingback. But at the moment, we have your attacking wingback in Reece James, and then you've got your more defensive wingback in Azpilicueta. So it just kind of feels like we don't really have the complete wingback on the right side. But yeah, overall today, Azpilicueta, he was fine. Just, we had the ball in the final third quite a bit. And I will say, I don't think he and Ziyech really fit together well. I think he was a bit better in the second half when Hudson-Odoi was on that side, because they sort of interchanged a little bit, where Hudson-Odoi would slide out and be the winger, and then he would slide in a bit more. And it allowed for a little bit better interplay between the two of them. But the first half, definitely, it felt like he wasn't really providing us much on that right side, because he and Ziyech were just sort of not clicking. On the left side, Alonso, typically I don't really expect him to be a great defender, but today he was especially poor. Several moments where he's diving into challenges or he's getting beat way too easily. And it's kind of a concern because, like I said, he's never really been a great defender, but he's been solid enough to do the job. And then on the attack, too, I always expect him to be effective, which is why I didn't really, we don't need him to be great on defense as long as he's providing on the attack. Well, today he wasn't doing either. Like, the attack from him was not good. Several moments where it feels like normally Alonso finishes this off, or normally Alonso gives us something. But honestly, today, they were putting a lot of numbers on him, so maybe that's why he didn't have time and space to do what he normally does. But I don't know, I normally expect a lot more from him, and I expect him to really give us that attacking edge on the left side. So I don't know what that was about. I don't know why he wasn't really doing as well as he normally does. But it's a concern, because with Chilwell starting to step up a little bit more and starting to play a bit better, you would want Alonso to say, hey, I want to fight for that spot too, and step his game up, so that way we have two fighting for that spot. But instead, it almost feels like this happens quite a bit with these two. It's like when one steps up and takes the spot, the other one, instead of saying, I'm going to step up too so I can challenge him for it, just sort of fades away and says, you know what, he can have it. Because it happened at the beginning of this year when Alonso stepped up in preseason and was playing well and dominating the spot. Chilwell didn't start very well. He started just kind of average and nonchalant and felt like he didn't really want to fight for the spot. And then slowly Alonso started to not play as well, and Chilwell did step up his game, and now it's going the other way. So I don't know. It's frustrating because on the right side, we've got a good attacking and a good defending right back. So it's, you can swap those two based on the game. But on the left side, we do have good wing backs that can do both sides of the ball. But the problem is there's always one that's performing well and one that's not. So you can't really switch them out as easily as the other side. So it's really frustrating that Alonso, again, put in another very performance. And then in the middle, Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek is not exactly the midfield duo I want to see. Because with Jorginho, it's Jorginho. So you're going to have those misplaced passes. You're going to have the lack of defensive capability with him. So it's just kind of a scary defender to have in there. Or defensive midfielder, rather. And then Loftus-Cheek, while he has been playing well and he's been putting in some good performances, he's not really a fantastic defensive midfielder either. So it really felt like when they were countering on us, the midfield is where we were losing a lot of those battles. It felt like they were playing through us way too easily and getting at our defense way too easily as well. But as far as their performances were concerned, Jorginho, not a great performance from him, like even by Jorginho's standards. I just felt like he wasn't really giving us much on the other side of the ball. Defensively, I never really expect much from him because he's too slow, he's not strong enough. But on the ball, I typically expect him to keep the play moving quickly. I expect him to be distributing decently enough. But today it wasn't. It wasn't there. It was too slow, too many touches. I felt like the pressure on him wasn't really that high either. So it's a game where he can perform well because he has time to play, and he didn't. He didn't show up today. So not a good performance from him. Loftus-Cheek had some good moments throughout the game, but overall, I would say it wasn't a great performance from him. I feel like he should have done a bit better in the final third, helping us get that final pass in, finding that striker or attacker to really finish off the play. But a lot of his passes in the final third were just not great. They didn't help us. They gave away possession too easily, and it helped the other team counter on us pretty quickly. And then to the front three, and this is where really, really frustrated me throughout the game, is these front three, because Hudson-Odoi has been on a good run of games. Today was not a good game for him. Had the great cross that set up the assist for the goal, but that was pretty much the only moment where I thought he played well. And you can't play well for 2 minutes throughout the 90. You've got to put in more. So I don't know what was going on with him today, but he really, really stepped off it. And there were several moments, I talk about the second phase when that cross comes in and it flicks down and somebody should be aware. He was honestly probably the biggest, the most guilty out of everybody on the field in this situation. Like, there were several moments where Hudson-Odoi was within 5 yards of the ball after it had come through for the first phase, and he wasn't ready. He was turned off, not ready to go after it, and the defenders had an easy clearance on him. So that was frustrating for him, but again, not really something that's expected because he has been playing well. He has been stepping his game up. So it's not really a worry for him, I don't think, as long as he can turn it around the next game. Ziyech, however, this has been very normal for him. Like, just the average, not really working for the team, very slow. His final ball is terrible. His first touch is terrible. It's just not a good performance from him again. And yeah, he got the goal, but it's kind of a goal you expect him to get. Now, granted, he missed from a very similar range against Newcastle, so I guess I'm glad he didn't miss today. But it's still not a good performance from him. You look at his overall performance, what he contributed to the team. I can't think of anything else he did outside of the goal that helped us. I can think of several moments where he gave the ball away and he didn't help us. So it's becoming an issue with him because it's not the first game that he's been poor. He's had several games in a row like this. And as soon as we get some of these players back from injury, from illness, he's going to be one of the first ones out of the team. And honestly, if we get all of the players back that play up there, if all of them return at once, I don't even know if Ziyech makes the bench. And as good a player as he can be, that's not good enough. So I don't know what's going to take for him to turn it around. I don't know if he just needs more pressure on him. I don't even know if he needs maybe some pressure taken off of him. Maybe some of these players need to return so that way the spotlight is not so much on him anymore. Now it's more on the first team players. And maybe that will give him a bit of motivation to sort of work harder and he doesn't feel so much weight on his back. But really, over these past few games where he's gotten to start because no Mount, no Werner, no Lukaku, no Pulisic, he's not taking that chance. He has really just said, I'm good. I don't need to play. And it's hurt us. So, and then Havertz, I still don't think he's a 9, but today his performance also wasn't good. Typically he's put in at least a good work. He's done something to try to make things happen. But today, aside from the one moment that led up to the goal, the good pass in behind for Hudson-Odoi, not much from him. Very slow, very turned off, not ready to play, and just very much a stagnant player today. And that's really not what you need from your number 9. So it's shown, the more that I watch him in the number 9 position, the more I see he's not meant for that position. But if he turns in a performance like this again, it's going to be very hard to pick him when you could put anybody else there and they'd probably at least give you something. At least try to work for the team and help out. So it's pretty pathetic from him overall. Then the subs that came on. Pulisic, just good for him to get some minutes. Didn't really see much from him that got me excited. I feel like it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get back to his best. So I'm not really expecting him to just come right back into the team. But I hope that he works hard and he gets himself back up to full fitness. And hopefully he can just avoid another injury because we need him to be back at his best and not be hindered again with more time off. And then Barkley, again, I get why Tuchel put him on, but the little bit of time he was on the field showed me more reasons why he shouldn't be playing. And honestly, he set up probably their best chance by nearly gifting them a chance back, and thankfully he got kicked in the process. But that back pass was just awful. So I don't know why. I don't know why he's still here, and we've loaned out Gallagher. It makes no sense to me. But all in all, it's at least good to get the win. Like, there's something good that came out of this. That's a good thing. But it's just another frustrating performance, and it didn't get better by the end of the game. With Newcastle, like I said, it got better, so I was able to end the game with a good feeling because it's like, yes, we turned it around. But today, it didn't feel like we turned it around at all. It felt like we just kept the same slow pace, kept on just sort of knocking it around slowly, waiting for our chance, and Malmo were just happy to defend against us because we made it easy to defend. So hopefully we get some players back soon because we're gonna need them. Right now, what we have up front is not working, so we need some of these players back from injury as soon as possible. But with all that being said, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts in this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.